Alrighty, Game and Compute, what is up? I am awake. I am not supposed to be up right now, but I'm up anyways, and I didn't get to record this yesterday because I was trying to focus on job application related stuff, and so I actually didn't post what I wanted to post. I actually didn't record it either. And I figured since I'm up, I've already been up over an hour, so let me just get something done. I mean, I don't really mind. My schedule's pretty flexible, so let's see, where did we leave off? So with this affiliate project, just to recap, the first step was seeding accounts, and so the initial steps are really what's called account optimization. And what happens is, when you're first trying to post affiliate links or anything for that matter, it doesn't really work out in the favor of the algorithms to really just open an account, same day start posting. Now, I can't really say for sure that isn't an option, that it doesn't work, because it might depend really on what you're trying to do. But just typically, when you first open an account for platforms such as YouTube or TikTok, or Instagram, you're basically gonna have some issues with the algorithm pushing your content, getting you traffic, because there hasn't really been any established data to work with necessarily. Like, if you think of it, these platforms in a way kind of remember. Like, the way I try to think of it is almost as if it's almost like a niche, for example. Now, not completely, because you can have a YouTube channel, for example, and just post like God only knows what. Like, you can just post random stuff every day, twice a week, like whatever. And if it's trending content and it's stuff people want to see, you could potentially still get traffic. So based on things like thumbnails and descriptions you write and titles and things like that, like if you kind of know what's trending, you can kind of still get traffic, even if, like, say for example, if I had a new YouTube channel and I just opened up a new YouTube channel, went into the studio and was just like, today I'm going to post a review about used shamisen instruments, like this Japanese style kind of lute type of like stringed instrument. Like, I'm gonna post a video about the ones I find around my town in used music shops. Like, they're not easy instruments to find. And content about shamisens is is it shansen? I always forget if it's called sanshin or shansen. But anyways, I'm just looking around my room at stuff, and I'm like, if I wanted to make random reviews about stuff, for example, like maybe the niche could be reviews technically, but if I wanted to go to used instrument shops and post reviews about the shamisens that I find during that day, which probably wouldn't be that many. I mean, I live in an area with a high Japanese and Japanese American population, and even in the area that I live, I doubt that I would find like that many. if any at all. Like, it's still like kind of a rare instrument, even though it is like you can find it, but I probably couldn't base like a channel off of used shamisen reviews to be able to post every single day. Like, I probably couldn't find as many of them as compared to like if I went to like pawn shops looking for guitars. Like, you almost always will find guitars in pawn shops, right? They're like a much more common instrument, at least where I live. And say if I made one video about that, and then the next day I made a video about how to cook chili in the oven, and then the next day I make a video about how to use a tape recorder, like the old school like cassette tape recorders, and then the next day I make a video about how to about my first time experiencing changing my guitar strings on my Ibanez RG series guitar, like just random stuff. Like, say if I like made a channel and that's how I started it, like it might get people interested, but if I posted content like that every day that was just like, who the heck knows what I'm gonna post, it might actually become interesting. But I mean, like, I wouldn't bank on it. Like, it doesn't really always work like that, but sometimes people just gravitate to something that's fun and interesting, and that would definitely be a unique channel, just to have a channel where you're just randomly posting about like any old thing. Like, that might actually capture some kind of audience. But you could see how it would be a little hard to really like test what content is going good. Like, maybe the shamisen review content does good because it's so rare and you have like no competition, and then the one about guitars might be interesting just because somebody initially clicked on the shamisen ones, and then like guitars and shamisens are both instruments, and so like maybe your channel would start creating like some kind of interest for people that are musicians or whatever. But if you didn't really have like a particular niche, you could kind of see how it would be like, okay, people come here for this, but now you're posting about food, and now you're posting about cars, and now you're posting about how to garden, and maybe it's just like a how-to channel with like a bunch of how-to stuff. But if it's like a combination of reviews and tutorials and just a combination of things that's just like vlog, day in the life kind of thing, it's kind of hard to really tell if something like that would really do well, because that's not really how these platforms are set up. Like, the algorithms aren't really necessarily set up that way, but you could technically still make it work. But I would just say, for strategy's sake, usually it's going to be hard to create content in a way that nobody knows like what you're doing. Like, you're just pulling people who just randomly happen to search for something, and you're ranking for those topics. Maybe you find like really rare topics that nobody has answers to, and you just like start finding answers to stuff or something. Like technically you could make something random work, but it's not. I don't know. Like, I think it wouldn't be easy to sustain. Like, could you replicate that and make like 6 more channels with the same idea of just like randomness? Like, I really don't know. Like, it really might depend on what you would choose, right? And so that's just like a very extreme example of how account optimization can kind of work. Like, if you use an extreme example of having like no niche and you're just like throwing ideas out there, I mean, that could technically work when you're trying to find a niche, in all honesty. Like, I've done that before, just like throw topics out there and see which ones do the best, and it takes a while. But like, seeing like who gravitates towards this or that. Like, I think the first YouTube channel I ever made, I'm just a nerdy person, so a lot of my hobbies are kind of techie, nerdy hobbies, and I would be doing stuff where, eventually I got into like basics of like breadboards, electronics, gaming laptop motherboard repairs, some types of music software tutorials and things like that. Like, I kind of gravitated towards that kind of stuff. And my random YouTube channel where I just used to post, like, God only knows, like, I would get like a new candy or something and eat like Hershey's Kisses with my sister, or like she'd have like a laptop and I'd show like what her laptop looked like or something. Like, we would just post stuff, and it wasn't like anything in particular, but I started noticing like, oh, these little techie ones, if I have like an error message, for example, and show people how to like fix that error on their computer, or like a certain laptop that's popular with the motherboard that has a specific like problem with the GPU like overheating and needing to like reseat it, and like like something like that. Like, people would kind of gravitate towards those videos because it was like a little bit of techie stuff here and there, but none of it was like specific to like only one thing all the time. But I started noticing like, okay, like this is cool, but like, once I started grad school and everything, I was like, I don't have time to be like rebuilding stuff and all these kind of things. So I kind of fell out of it. But if I would have stayed with that content, I could have built up any of those topics. Those videos are still getting views now, like from like ages ago, like over 10 years ago. Like, they're like really old videos, and really old computers and stuff. Like, but I mean, it was fun. Like, I was just having fun showing off different things that I learned, just because it was fun for me. And but I don't think that best practices usually include just like posting random content. But I would say the best way, if somebody wants to do that, you could potentially do that just to find like a niche, just to find like a traffic source, or like something that's like gonna drive traffic towards your site organically, just because people want certain types of the content you're posting about. But yeah, if you just always randomly just post it all the time, just random, maybe if you post it every single day, that might actually drive more traffic, just because you're posting so consistently. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Like, not only the niche, not only the type of content that you're posting about, but also that it would need to be like a routine type of posting schedule usually helps too. And so, all right, so for this project, the first step was seeding the accounts, which was going to take about, was recommended was, I heard a few days, and then I heard 5 to 7 days. So I went on the, conservative side of 7 days of seeding accounts. So what I did was, well, today's Wednesday now technically, but Tuesday of last week, so a week and a day ago, I set up a TikTok account, a YouTube account, and an Instagram account, all under the same username for the most part. And the first goal was to go on each of these accounts. What I did was I put the same logo on all three of them. I'm not going to say the names of them, but let's just say it's called Project Account. Let's say I have a website called projectaccount.com, and then and the Instagram is called I'm writing it down so I can use that name and remember it. Projectaccount.com, right? That's my fake. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Sorry. I'm typing this so I can remember what I'm using as my fake account name. So projectaccount.com is the website, the domain. And, I set up project account IG and project account TikTok as the usernames for the Instagram, for the TikTok, and then YouTube is just called project account. And projectaccount.com, maybe it's a landing page, maybe it's an email page, maybe it's a blog, some kind of page that's kind of like not really like social media, if that makes sense. And then all these other pages, all these other platforms, project account YouTube, the project account YouTube, the project account Instagram, the project account TikTok, those links can also be found on the project account website, right? And so the first goal is make the YouTube, make the Instagram, make the TikTok. According to the instructions I'm following, they mentioned nothing about creating a blog or nothing about creating a static website or nothing about creating like an email capture type of page, like a landing page, like a basic landing page. They didn't mention any of that, but in my head, I'm like, this is stuff that I'm kind of familiar with. And so for my notes, I'm kind of like, okay, like, in the back of my head, I'm like blog, landing page, and just basic like website, like a static website. That's kind of like in the back of my mind. Now, I know from my past history of, when I used to blog, way back, when I used to have way more time to learn about these things and just do them because that's what I did for fun. I didn't really have any, I was still like, maybe like in school working, and for fun, I would just, maybe on breaks or something, like work on projects and things. And so I would do things like set up a blog, have a YouTube channel that I was already just putting videos on just at random, like I mentioned, and then gravitating more towards the techie stuff, and then throwing up similar blog posts to the videos on my YouTube that were doing the best. And basically just on my YouTube channel, in the description, I would put the link to the blog post and just a general link for the actual blog itself. And then on the blog site, I would have the video link there and like information in written form, as well as the YouTube link, and let's just say it was blog and YouTube. Blogger is probably the blog I'm more familiar with. I've also used WordPress, but I don't know, I always gravitated towards Blogger first. Blogspot, Blogger, I don't know really what the difference in the names are, in all honesty, but I don't know, I think Google owns that now too. I could be wrong, but back when I was using all these things, like, I don't think Google owned YouTube way back when I first started posting. I don't think they owned Blogger either. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I think I was using it before Google owned like everything. And so I don't know if that made it easier or worse. And I also didn't follow up for like consecutive years. Like, once I started grad school, I kind of didn't, I took like quite a few years, and once I was working in like my mental health work jobs, you know, I kind of didn't really post like that. I kind of posted less and less and less, but I really always loved it. But I just, you know, I was writing and in classes and at work all the time, and just, you know, working overtime and stuff. Like, you know, even though I really always wanted to keep doing it, I kind of just never kept doing it. I stopped, you know. But that's what I remember early on, is that I used to link things back and forth, and I posted pretty consistently. And I remember when I would write blog posts, if I didn't have a video from YouTube to link to it, I would just randomly write blog posts when I felt like it sometimes too. And I would make, I would choose like maybe one photo. It wasn't always stock photos. Back then, I didn't always choose stock photos. I chose like, you know how you can like save an image off of somebody else's website? So I would save an image off of somebody else's website, and if I would create like a hyperlink of like basically I build a link on the picture, and so if someone was on my blog and clicked on the picture, it would go to the website where that initially came from. And I found out that for some reason that worked for traffic as well. Like there was one that I can't remember what it was called, but it was like I used to write these kind of like esoteric topics, you know, about like, you know, like the goodness of human nature, and like, you know, volunteer work, and you know, community togetherness, and like communication skills and things like that. Like the kind of stuff that I like psychological type of stuff, but more like, you know, social justice type things, but not really very political, just more so like wholesome, like, you know, community building kind of, you know, topics, you know. Just at random. Like I had no schedule. I was just like, I would just blog because I like to blog, you know. It was something I enjoyed. You know, I didn't use SEO techniques much. I just wrote. I would just write, hardly edited anything, and just posted like little essays about just the thoughts coming from my mind. Maybe put a couple links in there to different websites or things that I kind of had an interest in. It wasn't very strategic at all, but I posted very, very often. And I don't know if it was every day, but maybe sometimes every day or like a few times a week. I posted very, very often. And I remember one picture, maybe more than one, but one in particular that I have in mind. It was something like Helping Hands, and it was like some type of like Latina community support, volunteer support site or something. Like I don't know exactly what it was. Like it was something like that. But basically I used their picture, and I, you know, posted the link. You know, I would always post the link also as a caption under the picture. I would post the whole link, so in case somebody didn't click the picture, they would know the picture came from this website. And for some reason, that drove a whole bunch of traffic to that post. Like that post still today gets like more traffic than almost any other post that I have ever made on that particular blog. And I think I was posting on that same blog, I was also posting like techie stuff. And so like I had like this weird blog that had like weird like techie videos that were popular for my YouTube channel, and then some pictures, you know, that were driving traffic just organically. So the reason why I mention this stuff is I know it sounds definitely like I'm going a little bit off topic, because I am, but you know, these are like little weird strategies that have worked for me in the past. Not even like on purpose. It was just accidental things that I came across that worked, right? Now, I didn't know what this helping hands thing was. I still don't know because I never really fully read the website, or like maybe I did like over 10, 15 years ago. I don't really know. I don't remember. But all I do remember is I was like, why are people flocking to my blog more than others? More than like, why are people flocking to this post? Now, the post that I wrote had nothing to do with their website. I think it had to do with like helping people or volunteer work or something in general, like, you know, why it's important, or like what my opinions are about it, and like my experiences with it, and what I feel driven towards with volunteer work, and how I feel about it for like it was all my opinions about things and experiences. And then it just happened to link back to something that had to do with like volunteer work. And so that can be one really key method of getting traffic, is really knowing about specific sites that are within a niche that you're trying to market. If you know of sites that have high traffic volume, and you can kind of in a way almost capture their traffic in a way, because you're using maybe some content from their sites. Like, I'm not saying steal people's stuff, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes if you just like know about something, like I can imagine if I would have been trying to promote this helping hands Latina volunteer company or whatever it was, it sounds like they got a lot of traffic. And let's say it was for, I don't even know what it's for, honestly, but let's just pretend it was for, high school Latina ladies who wanted to, who is a community for high school Latina ladies to get volunteer experience for high school graduation or something. Because like I think in the US, I think you still need some kind of volunteer experience or something like that, work experience or something like that. And maybe it was for Latinas, helping, maybe they needed to speak Spanish fluently and be bilingual in Spanish and English, and go to elderly homes where there's other Latina ladies who only speak Spanish, and the whole goal is for them to like read books to them and like talk to them every week, and like form relationships and give back to the community, using their native language and learning about stories from elders and things like this. So it's like it goes both ways. The elders are benefiting, the youthful population is benefiting in their own culture. Like, let's just say that's what that company was doing, that volunteer company, and I don't really know what they were doing, but let's just say that's what they were doing. You could build a whole, site, like trying to help them or promote them or whatever. Like, you could build like a whole niche around something if it's driving, if there's already like organic traffic, right? But sometimes that's going to be the first thing, is like if you have a niche that's kind of dead, or a niche that isn't really like like I said, like the shamisen instruments, it's something that's like maybe not the most worldwide thing, but also it's so niche that you might actually luck out, because you might have the only content out there, and so when people are looking for stuff, they can only find your stuff. And so that's one way to kind of get lucky with things, is if you have like no competition, but the need for the information is there, people will gravitate towards you. And then on the other hand, if you have too much competition, but then there's just so many people that are searching, you still might get a lot of traffic. But then there's a lot of like in between situations where you just don't really know what's going to happen with the traffic situation. So that's kind of like a lot of background about, account optimization, seeding accounts, like I don't have much to say about it. Like basically, the whole goal for seeding the accounts was to have these 3 platform accounts with pretty much the same name. Now, I didn't choose the same name exactly for all of them. I didn't choose projectaccount.com. I didn't choose project account for YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. For YouTube, I only kept it as project account. For Instagram, I made it project account IG. For TikTok, I made it project account TikTok. I put a logo for all of them, the same exact logo. And then in the back of my mind, working with things that I'm familiar with, like blogs, landing pages for email capture, or, static websites of some kind, podcasts as well, things like that. Like, those are ideas in the back of my head that weren't mentioned, in the instructions for the project that I'm doing. But, for account optimization, I know that, those are ways to get organic traffic as well. If you basically have a bunch of platforms, everything's kind of linking back and forth to each other, right? So that was the first step, was, seeding the accounts, and then trying to get into account optimization, which is basically trying every day for what they said, a few days or 5 days, 5 to 7 days. So I did 7 days of going on these accounts for at least 5 minutes every day. And so that's the first step of what I did. And then I'll tell you the next step. But the first step of what I did was literally just that. Seeding the accounts, making sure I was viewing content within the niche. So if my idea is projectaccount.com and my affiliate, link, because this is all basically, maybe I didn't mention this, that it's a project for affiliate marketing. So I've got an affiliate link and discount codes and things like that for this specific affiliate program. And let's just say that it's called, like project account link. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to make this up on the fly, guys, just as an example. And so I feel like saying project account makes it confusing, but that's the easiest thing I can think of to say, projectaccount.com. So yeah, I think I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, I think those are the only things that I was supposed to do for the first 7 days, was go on each platform of the accounts I opened and do nothing but engage with content within the niche of the affiliate program. So within the niche, if it's project account and the niche of what I'm trying to promote for the affiliate link is, let's say, I don't know, science fair projects. Oh gosh, this is not right. But yeah, we're pretending here because I have to have something to work with. So affiliate for science fair projects, and so basically that's my whole niche in this project. And the example of my project is a niche for science fair projects. Now, I don't know anything about science fair projects. I am not actually, this project has nothing to do with that niche, but I'm using it as an example because I need to talk about something. I don't want to use the exact example of what I'm doing because depending on how it turns out, I don't really want competition like that of people just exactly copying every single thing, because you know how that goes. But basically, for account optimization, those are the first steps for the week. But then a lot of the stuff I was saying earlier in this episode is just kind of food for thought. Like, if you have experience with YouTube or blogging or Instagram or TikTok or websites or landing pages or podcasts or anything where there's the potential for someone to search for something and come across your page, and especially when it's social media related as well, if you have anything like that in your past history that you've dabbled with, I would recommend, thinking about what you did, what worked, going back on those pages if you still have access to those platforms and things, seeing kind of what worked, because you can kind of develop small strategies off of that little kind of stuff. Like I mentioned, there was that little picture, the little like link building, is very powerful. Now I feel like there's a difference between, long game and short game kind of, social media projects, which is what I've noticed. Like I have had some luck with like the short game of just randomly, making money off of stuff. Now this is not what I'm talking about here, but I've never actually long-term, like extended doing projects that make money online for a very long period of time and built it up, from something fast. Like I've never done like I set up a website and then the next day it's already making money. And then I can cash out the money like before the weekend, like I've never done anything like that quick. The skills that I know and kind of the methods and strategies that I know are kind of like more honestly based on hobbies, just kind of, posting content and then just posting for fun and seeing where it goes and just doing what I want to do, and then seeing like what are other people gravitating towards that I still want to do, and then going further with that and taking that and running with it. So, for me, one thing about affiliate marketing that I feel like people don't really explain, is that, and I don't want to say things to like discourage people to be like, oh, don't do it because it's not going to work, because I don't really know, like I said, like people can be shocked, like some random stuff works really good, and then sometimes you can have a strategy that might seem tried and true and it doesn't work at all, and it's like, why does this not work versus that does work? Sometimes it's really hard to tell. And so one thing, I've definitely noticed is that, I think one of the most popular affiliate programs is ClickBank, ClickFunnels. I think most people who are into those topics have heard about ClickBank and ClickFunnels. I feel like most people have heard about that. And so with ClickBank, what happens is, you just register for an account, just like you would for any other type of platform account. Like, name, birthday, I don't remember what, let's just say email, password, name, birthday, username, maybe security password or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't used ClickBank in a minute, but, I used to follow all these videos. They were just like, oh yeah, like affiliate marketing, and like find the link and like freaking post it all over the place and people are going to pay you. And it's like, maybe they will. And there is proof that that does work for some people. But think about this. Think about all the things that we were just now talking about, that we were just talking about in this episode, and kind of how it looks for traffic to kind of come your way. The things that the algorithm considers, right? It considers niches. It considers routine posting schedules. It considers link building. It considers, is your account like kind of like a niche type of account? Like what are you engaging with through your accounts? Like if I'm on Instagram and my account is about science fair projects, but when I go on that account, I'm looking at laptop portable keyboards or something, it's like that might not really match up exactly. Or if I'm looking at like pillows, like for the couch or something, back support pillows, and it's like a science fair project site, it's like, what am I searching? What am I engaging with? Like, what am I posting? Who am I following? Who am I adding? Whose content am I liking and engaging with? Who's engaging with my content and liking my content? A lot of times when it's like, routine posts, with, a good thumbnail, a good title that's like catchy, like I could have the best niche ever. Let's say that science fair projects, all of a sudden, that's the best way to make money, is that there's science fair projects popping up all over the US. I mean, not that I know of, but let's just say that, that becomes a new trend where, there's science projects for adults and, science fair projects for all different ages. And that just becomes so popular and people are making money winning science fairs or just participating in them. And if it becomes a money-making opportunity, people would be able to potentially post about something like that and make quite a bit of money off of it. And, if that was the case, then, I could probably write about anything science fair project related and it would probably get a lot of traffic. But if I have something that's like not even popular, like back support pillows for your couch or something that nobody cares about, like they might care about that, I don't know. But say if that's just something like nobody cares about, like spaghetti strainers or like whatever, like like particular, like it's kind of funny though, because when I say different topics for niches, is like I could potentially see how somebody could make that work. But then it's like some things just aren't really trending right now, some things just people don't really care about it, but sometimes people might care about it. So but yeah, if you think about affiliate marketing and getting an affiliate link through ClickBank and just promoting the link, it's like it could work, you can make money. But the hard thing is, if nobody wants the product, if it's a scammy product or a crap product or looks cheap, it doesn't matter how much traffic you have to your site. It doesn't matter how many people view your videos. Nobody's clicking on your link and buying your stuff. If I'm selling crap, nobody wants it anyways, or if they do want it, it's like maybe you just had so much traffic that just the odds just worked out in that, just because I have so much traffic, somebody bought. There are a certain amount of people that are clicking and buying, and I'm getting a commission. And so, ClickBank has a lot of different types of products. People usually recommend fitness and health and beauty type of niches. But it's like, if nobody knows that the product even exists, right? If this is like, I don't know, like a Febreze balm or something, like something you throw it in a room. I don't even know how this would work. You pull a string and you throw it in the room, and you stay out of the room, close the doors and windows for an hour, and then you come back in. The ball of Febreze is completely disintegrated. It doesn't leave any residue or mess anywhere, and your room is nicely scented, and you can breathe, and it's like friendly to your lungs. Let's say this is the product, that you're selling, and it's like, if nobody's heard of it before, like, of course Febreze is like a name brand type of product, but if it wasn't Febreze, if it was something that smells like Febreze, but it was just called like fresh puff or something. If it's just called like Fresh Puff, and you just throw it in a bedroom or a bathroom or your kitchen, like say you're having company coming over and you have animals or something, and you're like, I don't want my house to smell like pets, and so whenever I have company, I like throw this thing in a room or whatever, and it's safe to breathe. After an hour, I can come back. So let's say it would probably need a buffer. Like they say, stay out of the room for an hour, but like technically within 30 minutes, you could still probably breathe, because I think they probably would need like a buffer of time, so that people aren't getting so people aren't suing them basically for lung damage or whatever. But I don't know, it's late and I'm thinking of all kind of stupid things, but that's kind of like how I view it though. I'm like, if somebody wants to do affiliate marketing, the product that they're marketing has to be decent enough to market. It can't just be some like crazy thing that's like useless and pointless and not worth the money. Because basically what the affiliate link is you get a commission for somebody buying the product, right? So if my website, projectaccount.com, is, selling an affiliate link that basically helps people sign up for science fair project tutors, a tutor that basically helps you to, develop a plan for your science fair project and, get you into a science fair with a good chance of winning, because now science fairs are so popular in this fictitious example that I've been creating. Like, if I basically was promoting tutoring services, right, for that niche, then basically what happens is, I don't have to sign up for it. I don't have to sign up for, projectaccount.com services. The science fair tutors, maybe, that's where they're coming from. And it's already, if it's already a site that exists, if projectaccount.com is a site that I didn't create, but it's basically the site that has the affiliate program that I say that I want to be a part of. I'm approved to be a part of that affiliate marketing program. They send me a link where I'm going to promote my link, which basically drives traffic back to projectaccount.com, which is their site where there are the tutoring services that people can buy off of their site for this popular niche of science fair projects. And people have the link and they can click on my link, and if they purchase, a tutoring service, I get, let's make it an easy round number, I get $10 for every person who buys a tutoring service through my link. Now, let's say projectaccount.com that sells these tutoring services, let's say that website is, because I know initially I said that website, maybe that's a static website or landing page that I set up myself or blog that I set up myself, but let's just make it easier that I don't know, you could call it whatever you want to call it, but let's just say that my my unique link and my unique promo code for people who buy it, maybe they get let's make it 50% off. Maybe they get 50% off of $100, right? If they use my link and they use my discount code. And so of course people would want that, because if it's a popular niche and the tutoring services are like let's say that commonly tutoring services cost $500, and this tutoring service that I'm promoting is already way cheaper. It's 5 times cheaper if it's $100, right? Plus I'm giving you $50 off of that. I'm giving you or maybe it's a discount code that you get. What do you call it? I haven't heard this word in a while. Mail-in rebates. Remember mail-in rebates, where you would buy something and then if you mailed in a receipt or a form or some little thing, then within a month or two they'd send you back some amount of money, which was usually worth it, but it's you didn't get an immediate discount. You got the money returned to you in the future. So let's just say if you had a $500 product that you went and bought at Best Buy, you would, cut out the little back, barcode or something and put it in an envelope. Right on the back of that barcode, your name and address and email address, and write the account number on the front of the envelope with the barcode that you're sending back in, and then they send you back $45 or something. That would be worth sending it back in. $45 is quite a lot of money. But if you had a mail-in rebate for $2 or something, most times people probably wouldn't remember to send that in right away. And then a lot of these companies probably, they had a deadline of you have to send it in within 30 days or 90 days or whatever. And so they kind of bank on people forgetting to send it in or sending it in late, so they don't have to pay people the money, and the person already spent the $500 and they don't get $45 back because they didn't follow the instructions properly. And so back in the day, people used to have that kind of thing. And now, we use discount codes and stuff like that. But sometimes it's almost the same idea. It's not an immediate discount. Say if somebody signed up for this tutoring service, and you get money back after you finish the certificate with the tutor, or, there might be some kind of catch. So it's you never really know. You never really know what you're getting into with affiliate marketing and projects and, different links and discount codes and stuff. You kind of have to know what you're selling to be able to promote it. But then also just to promote only that, unless you're doing it through a landing page or something, usually you have to provide some kind of value through content. Usually that's what people do these days, is they create content, and it's kind of within a similar niche. So that's why I was saying all these things earlier about like, creating, a blog and a landing page, and then the YouTube channel and the TikTok and the Instagram and all these other social media platforms revolving around this. Like, and if you're linking them all back to each other in all the descriptions, you have all the links for all your stuff. And if in every post you have all the links for all your stuff, including the discount code and your affiliate link, if people are naturally going towards your blog and reading it every day or every week, if people are naturally going to your YouTube channel because you post every day or every week, if people are naturally coming to your podcast because you post all the time, if people are just naturally coming towards your sites because you post all the time, and especially if you're getting new, people engaging with your content, because people aren't going to keep buying it, right? Like some things, once you've purchased it, you've purchased it. Like if you're trying to win a science fair and you get one tutor for $100 with $50 off, you're probably going to enter one science fair. Now, if somebody, if this was actually like a trending niche of like side hustles that people do, is like joining science fairs. Like science fairs exist and they're real and they're cool and I like them. I'm really into research and science and stuff, but I don't think the general population is like flocking towards that kind of stuff. Like you see more people now, if they want work, they're looking for stuff like Uber driving, and like Uber delivery, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Amazon drivers, work from home jobs, remote like data entry, customer service jobs. That's kind of what people are gravitating towards nowadays. People aren't really like putting in all that back end work to not get like an immediate, amount of cash back that they can, use for their expenses. People want money now. They're not trying to make money, after building like a whole device or, some kind of, prototype thing and going to a science fair and like trying to win, a single check. Maybe, you could potentially get like a patent and, be able to like create like an actual site, create like an actual company off of something that you made. That happens all the time, but you see what I mean? It's like a lot of times this isn't going to happen within a week or a day. Like, some things are going to take a lot more time, so depending what you're promoting, if it's not like an impulse buy kind of thing, it might be a little difficult. And a lot of times affiliate programs, you want to make sure, does the person have to clear like a certain amount of time? Like if a person's getting tutoring services, and they buy my tutoring service, if I get one person to buy off my link and they use my discount code because they're getting something in return, they're getting $50 off by using my discount code, and I'm getting money from them using my discount code. Or they're likely going to use my link because I'm giving them a discount code. And so, they could technically just go on the website themselves and not use the affiliate link that you've given them, because these other websites already exist without your link. And so they could technically just go straight to whatever that is. So discount codes, promo codes, those types of things kind of help, because it's like, well, I'm already here. I'm already with this link in front of my face. I can already click on the link because it's already right in front of my face. And then, oh, look, they're doing me a solid by giving me this discount. So I'm probably going to use their link. Like, it's very uncommon, I think, that people would think to go outside of that affiliate link that a content creator is posting and providing valuable content already. And then it's like, oh, look, here's something that's related to what you're talking about. Kind of related. It doesn't have to be exactly related, but kind of related to what you're talking about. like if the niche is generally about like how to make money with science fair projects, or how to make money with research and science in general, or just about science and statistics and research design and things like that, and then they're promoting this link for science fair tutors, you know, likely they're going to not just navigate off of what you're providing them and go somewhere else and just take your link and run off with it. Like, that's a potential that people could do. They could potentially just take your link and post somewhere else. They don't have to do what you want them to do necessarily. Sorry, at least this site cuts me off from rambling. But yeah, people wouldn't usually just navigate away from a site like that. Sorry, at least from your link like that, and just go to the outside site that your affiliate link is from, and just post your promo code. Like people could do it that way, but usually people don't do that. But I just want people to think, when you're doing affiliate projects, affiliate marketing, these are the types of things that, I wish people would have talked more about. And because it changes so much, like I mentioned, like when I was doing like any type of stuff like ages ago, just for fun, I was able to get organic traffic just by trying different things here and there. And, some of it worked. And so I do know that, when you're, I guess the best thing to think about, in my opinion, is to focus on traffic, knowing about what the algorithms need, and think about traffic. Because a lot of times when you go on YouTube and watch videos about how to make money or how to do this, that, like anything that makes money, for the most part, if nobody knows that you exist, how are they going to come and click on your stuff, and how are you going to make money, right? It's almost like, you could have the best business idea on earth, but if you have a store that's like a brick and mortar traditional like shop, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and you don't advertise about it, and nobody knows that you're there, and you set up shop in the middle of somebody's farmland, and God only knows where in the middle of the U.S., in the middle of like Amish country or something, and it's like nobody's gonna know that you're there unless there's like word of mouth or just a lot of curiosity, or you sell something that's very rare that people really need. Or, there are ways that you would potentially get traffic just naturally, but a lot of times it's like, unless you really have something that good, or like a specific type of scenario that's so unique, usually what you want to depend on, instead of just, hitting a jackpot kind of situation, is traffic. And if you can't drive traffic, then you're likely not going to have people viewing your whatever you're posting. And if people aren't viewing what you're posting, then they're definitely not seeing your links, and they're definitely not clicking on the links if they're not seeing them, and they're definitely not using your links to buy the products because they're not coming across your links. And so the first thing you really want to think is, I need people to see these links, and not only do I need them to see them, but I need the links to be valuable, right? I need them to be valuable. So if the link itself isn't already valuable, you really have to have some very valuable content. And I'm not saying that like, I would never recommend for someone to sign up for some kind of affiliate program, get your link to market, and have some crappy product that doesn't work, or that's dangerous or unhelpful or just crappy quality. Because, that's business. Like, the way I think of it is like, would I want someone I know to come across this and purchase it and buy it? And would I be proud of the quality of the thing that they purchased? Like, how would I feel about their purchase? How would I feel about, if my friend from childhood came across my link and they have a kid that is entering a science fair and really needed the help, really needed a tutor, do I feel like those tutoring services that I'm promoting are worth it? If I know that the tutors are flaky and they're not trained and it's some scammy program and I'm out there promoting it, eventually those types of things get called out, and it's not worth trying to build something long term and putting in all your hard energy and effort into something that's crappy. And sometimes you might not know that it's crappy because you might not have had or used the actual product. So a lot of times it does help to have familiarity with the product that you're promoting, because if you know about the product you're promoting, you can actually promote it very well, and people can tell if you know what you're talking about, and people can tell what your experience is within that niche. But yeah, the first thing I would say is like, other than quality of product, you need to think traffic, so choosing things like domain names that have something to do with what you're promoting, or even if they don't, you don't want it to be so far off that like nobody knows. Like oh man, I can't remember I had this website once that got so much traffic, but the name had nothing to do with what it was. And I can't remember what it was. It was something like I was just posting like random stuff. Like, I don't know. I wish I remember what it was. It was a very short-term thing. It was like, oh yeah, I remember. It was like social science stats or something like that. And, I really wanted to geek out and be like, because I, my major was in the social sciences, and I was really into statistics and teaching people how to use statistics and like what I was learning in school and grad school and stuff. And I was really into like stats and research, and I accidentally created like a popular, I don't know if it was a .com. I think it had like some weird extension like .nrx or something. I don't remember. It was like something. But I created a blog, and I created a static website on WordPress with a blog through Blogger or something. And it got quite a lot of traffic, just from that topic. I didn't post that many posts on that. I switched the topic out from social science, statistics, research. I kept the name of the blog, the website, whatever it was, and I started talking about like some other thing that I got into, like some hobby that I just was into. Like, let's just say it was like some sport, like soccer or something. I don't know what it was, but let's just say all of a sudden social science stats became about soccer. And it's like, this site was getting quite a bit of traffic, and it had nothing to do with, social science stats or whatever. And I wish I kind of built that out, but it was kind of funny because like, I chose a niche that I liked, that I knew, but then I was like, man, it got really tedious, because I was like, man, like this is like, I'm thinking about stats all day, like, but I could have built that out and made it into something decent, and I didn't. And I took it and I did some other random thing with it, and all the people coming there, I'm pretty sure, were interested in like research and statistics and stats and social sciences, maybe psychology, sociology, whatever it was. And I was over here posting about like LA Galaxy soccer or something. Like, like I did post some stuff early on that was, on niche, but then after that I just kind of went rogue and started just posting whatever. And so it's like sometimes you can just look out and stumble across something that does very well. And then other times it's like you really want it to kind of all match ideally. But the reason why I'm saying all these other random things is you can kind of randomly make stuff work. It's just trying to create a strategy around randomness is pretty difficult. It's like I can drive random traffic to my site and have like a really interesting product about the Los Angeles Galaxy MLS team, and all my traffic is coming from like people interested in research and statistics. Maybe that would work. But maybe my statistics has nothing to do with soccer. And so it's like, I don't know. But you could have something like that where it's like you drive traffic from some random place and it might work. But I don't know, guys. I wouldn't really bank on it, but sometimes it's just fun to play with ideas. I think what I used to use back then, I think I've talked about it before, but I think what I used to use was 000 web host, and you could get a free domain name, but it wasn't a .com. It was like some weird thing that nobody would think to search. Like if I had like social science stats.rmm2 or something, it's like, what? Nobody knows what that is. But yeah, other sites like Blogger and YouTube and Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff, you just get traffic just because you get traffic, because people are searching for your stuff. So yeah, you want the niche to kind of make sense for people to be able to kind of think of the topic, and maybe potentially they would have searched it just organically in Google, and if you're ranking, your site would come up. Or if people search it and it's like common names, like I used social science stats, apparently that was a very popular term that people were searching, and I didn't really know. I was just playing around because I was into statistics, so I did drive some traffic early, and then I went from there and just kind of just randomly did some completely different thing. But it was just kind of funny how that worked, because I was like, man, that's one of the most, I did some random stuff. That was one of the most random things. I did a lot of random things. And so that's why I'm like, I can't say random stuff doesn't work, but it's like, try to keep that going for years, it might not make sense. Have you ever got on a website where you're like, why did they even name it this? Where you're like, what on earth were they thinking? What? Or sometimes when you're on YouTube, I tend to do this. I subscribe to a bunch of, topics that I'm interested in, and then I can't remember what the topic is. I remember the other day, I was trying to remember the name of the YouTuber. It was maybe a month ago now. I was trying to remember the name of this YouTuber that created a lot of good content about techie stuff, about, I don't remember what, not hacking in a way, kind of more internet security, but early stages of it. I think he worked in some kind of internet security type of role, or computer security type of role, and he was basically teaching on a whiteboard or something like that. And I could not remember this guy's name for the life of me. And it took maybe 2 days. It just came to me once. I remember he wore orange shirts, and I typed everything. I was like, orange shirt tech guy, tech, hacker, topics that he would talk about. And I was just like, I can't find his name anywhere. And his name is Eli the Computer Guy. But it's that didn't come to my mind. And I've been following him for years. But I stopped. I probably hadn't watched any of his videos for 7 years or something like that. And then all of a sudden I wanted to watch something that he had spoken about. And then I was like, dude, like, what is his name? And that's not a bad name. Eli the Computer Guy isn't a bad name. But it's like, I couldn't remember, like, what his channel was called, But his topics were really cool. Like, I appreciate that guy. But it's stuff like that. Like, sometimes you just can't remember the name of something, even though it's really good content. It's like his is kind of on point, but I couldn't remember his name. And so because I couldn't remember his name, like his name, Eli, I couldn't, like, I remember what he looked like. He was like bald. He had like facial hair. He wore orange a lot. He would write on a whiteboard a lot. I remember kind of things about him. But oh my gosh, yeah, like if people can't remember, your handle, it's going to be kind of hard, to get traffic. Now, a lot of people do use their name or something like that. So it's like, sometimes your name can be helpful because people might just remember you. Like, I remember I used to follow Chris Pirillo. I forgot what his channel name used to be. It used to be something like, TLDR. Was he too long? Didn't read. I think he had TLD, something like a blog about like, it was like TLDR or something like that. I don't know if that was him who made it or he just talked about it a lot, but I think that was his blog, was like TLDR. And then I think it was like some something with the word geek in it, like computer geek or something. I can't remember, but, and then like, he's branded as Chris Pirillo, and I think now he's just Chris Pirillo. But, yeah, I remember way back just being like, what? Like I couldn't remember like his handles, until I started watching his stuff all the time. But he used to post a lot, and I used to watch his videos all the time. And so, yeah, thinking about the title, thinking about, not the title, but, the niche and the actual name, and then the titles of what you post and the thumbnails of what you post, and, how you build links and how you drive traffic, the initial steps that are recommended are seeding accounts, opening the accounts for those sites and posting on them. Well, sorry, not posting on them initially, and just engaging with whatever niche you're going to be engaging with, because that would naturally make it so that, now your site is naturally driving traffic towards you, recommending, that's not worded correctly. Now those social media platforms are now driving, recommending topics for you within your niche. Now, I don't know if that always matters, that the content that you're engaging with should be the content that you have as your niche. That might or might not be related. I really don't know. I haven't looked that up yet, but that is something to maybe consider. I could see how that would be beneficial. So if you're trying to post stuff about how to make money, things about finance, things about trending topics in like side hustles and things like that, and then this whole Science Fair project thing, if that's what you're promoting as the fictitious example, then it's like, the topics that you look up and the topics that you're posting are kind of similar to that niche, because you could always have your own personal account. I mean, a lot of these platforms, you can make a lot of accounts. Now, you want to be careful. I did run into an issue, I think, with Instagram. And what's recommended is when you're seeding these accounts, you don't have a VPN turned on. But for the Instagram, I had to, like, the first day it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work because I guess I had other Instagram accounts, and so it wouldn't let me actually create the account. But then I went through VPN to create, like, I turned on my VPN and then still kept it in the US and then made an Instagram account that way. And it ended up working for me. And it was giving me this error message. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. I don't have my laptop in front of me, but I wrote it on I copied and pasted it on my laptop. Something about, like, it was an error message about some proxy server thing. Basically, I think it has to do with your IP address and having too many accounts connected to that specific IP. Am I wrong? I might be wrong about that, but that's what I thought I read, and I couldn't get support around it. And so basically, I just turned on the VPN and created the account, and it worked. It worked for like a week. I don't know if it's still working. It seemed like it was a little glitchy today, but I think it's working. But when I refreshed, it was saying it couldn't find the account, but then I was able to actually play certain content on there, because I'm only, I'm still seeding the account. I'm like, yesterday was my last day of seeding the accounts for the 1 week period. And so that's kind of what I've been learning about, what I've been doing on this project. And then in the back end, kind of creating content. Not a lot of content because I've been job searching more, but I need a schedule to maybe create content. Initially, I had a plan around it, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that much content and risk taking away time from some other stuff that I needed to be doing. But I'm going to talk more about that probably in the next episode that talks about this topic, because I'm having fun with it. But yeah, all this is like the background of the project, is like the foundation, setting things up. Like I did mention, stuff that they didn't really mention was like logos, and they did recommend creating all new accounts and not working with accounts that you already have, just for data purposes, because if you weren't, like, say for example, if you had a YouTube channel and you weren't posting, and then all of a sudden you start posting, like that triggers the algorithm in a different way than if you have a brand new account that's a newly seeded account. And I guess the account optimization works differently for new accounts versus like an old account that maybe you didn't use. But I'm using an old account for my YouTube channel, using an old account that I didn't really use because I liked the name, and I didn't have the other social media platforms set up yet. And so I just set up other social media platforms around it because I liked the name, I liked the logo. It was on target with the niche that I was already going to create content around. And I was like, I don't want to create a new YouTube channel. And so I just kept it at that. But that's about as far as I got. And well, I do have a little more to add, but not a lot of experience to add to it. So I'm going to keep recording in another episode. This one's already going to be almost 90 minutes. But this is what happens. I can't sleep, so I'm just up recording. I just figured might as well get out the recordings that I wanted to do yesterday. But yeah, with that, thanks for listening.